And g'day everybody, Max Wright here, and we're going to go ahead and get started with these members' questions. This is questions from paid subscribers to Success Council. I asked them to put them in the comments of this video, and if you want to follow along, I would go ahead and click sort by, not top comments because votes can change over time, newest first. Be aware there may be some newer ones added by the time you get to watch this, but we'll start with Sassy Pants. Let's try and burn through this. How many we got? 118. And so, by the way, yeah, if you by doing it, keeping in this order, you can skip along and go to questions that you're interested in. All right, let's try and burn through this. Would love to hear from others. Bitcoin hit the $12,100 mark, which apparently signals a short bull run, and just climbed to 12.4. Actually, let me have a look at exactly what's happening in the Bitcoin world. I know you can't see this, but I can. And yeah, Bitcoin is off to the races. Broke $12,000 today, and is at 12.4. Sassy Pants is correct. I'm still learning and would love to hear from Max and others buy or sell alerts at this critical time. Yeah, guys, I can't believe how important this is. In fact, this is a little bit sad. 500 views on this video. Now, that means that a lot of people are not getting my emails, or at the very least not clicking on them. That's just the members I'm talking about. You've got to add max@successcouncil.com to your contacts in your email, and then create a rule or a filter which says never send it to spam. If you do not do those critically two important steps, I can almost guarantee you are going to miss out on the critical alerts I send out. So make sure you do those two steps. And yes, so basically, I'm not sure what the question is here. Hang on. Is this the time to buy more or sell some for profit? So look, I'm a long-term trader. And so might there be a little pullback just after this little run? Yeah, maybe, but I don't sort of deal in that stuff. I go for the big movements. And so yeah, right now, basically, I'm predicting a 2-year bull run. There's going to be plenty of pullbacks on the path in that 2-year bull run. Buy the dips. If you have some spare cash, buy the dips. But yeah, you're not going to be getting any serious sell cryptocurrencies immediately notice from me in the next 2 years. I can almost guarantee. I will say this though, altcoin season is definitely starting, so stay tuned, members. The next couple of months I'm going to be giving you way more info about the types of altcoins I'm paying attention to. Altcoin season is upon us. Andrew Schwartz. Max, I would love to know why, if you expect BTC to reach the 200 mark, why do you think that it would be a good time to change into altcoins? Also, would you recommend taking the profits I make each week or leaving it in there until you recommend? Cheers. Andrew, I would recommend you leave it in crypto. I'm confused by this 200 mark. If you expect Bitcoin to reach the $200,000 mark, maybe, would it be a good time to change into altcoins? No, we'll probably get into altcoins much sooner than that. 2021 is going to be a great altcoin year, and quite frankly, the altcoin run could have already started. I think it probably has actually. So stay tuned for the next couple of months. I'll be doing a deep dive on the altcoins coming up. Hi Max, we are selling our house. Just wondering what you're thinking a 2-year strategy would be to where we should invest the proceeds from our sale in Melbourne, by the way, the police state. So George, I can't tell people what to do. A, it's illegal. B, I'm not licensed, all those kinds of things. I can tell you what I would do. Real estate is not going to be the best asset class over the next couple of years, in my opinion. That's going to be true pretty much anywhere in the world. I think especially the high-end places, that's including Melbourne, Sydney, London, Vancouver, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco. The great cities of the world are gonna get beat, I think. I wouldn't be buying there. Where would you put my money? As you know, I'm a huge fan. The next 2 years is going to be an epic Bitcoin bull run and cryptocurrency bull run. So I would put a good chunk of it, at least, in cryptocurrency. Having said that, it is a risky asset, and it depends on your tolerance for risk. So, LMT. Hi Max, how much cash should someone hold versus Bitcoin and gold and silver in terms of, say, $400,000 of stuff to play with? So again, there's risk tolerance here, right? So probably cryptocurrency is your riskiest asset, arguably. Precious metals is probably your safest asset, arguably. It depends on your risk tolerance. I think Bitcoin is a very, very high potential return over the next couple of years for a very small, relatively small risk. I think cash has an enormous amount of risk at the moment. And I think precious metals, I think, is safe as gold. So, but I think the big returns are going to be in cryptocurrency. And so I don't know, it depends on your risk tolerance and you have to manage that. To me, the most important thing is, I need to be able to sleep at night. When I didn't have much money, maybe that's not true. I was willing to be a little bit more balls to the wall because I wanted freedom. Now that I've got financial freedom, I'm more concerned about protecting financial freedom, so my risk tolerance has gone down. But having said that, because I've become so good at managing risk, my portfolio would probably look very risky to the vast majority of people. But to me, I think it's quite safe and secure. So these are personal questions. I can't answer personal questions for your risk taste. But I think the biggest returns are going to be in cryptocurrency. The next biggest returns are going to be in precious metals. And cash is going to be cash. I mean, by definition, you're sitting on the sidelines. But in this environment, the sidelines can get smashed too. So, okay, Daniel Ryan. Hi, Max. Not sure if I heard correctly. If I did, why would you get out of Bitcoin in a few months if you believe it will reach 200K? Do you recommend, for example, to take profits out each week and put them into precious metals? Or do we wait for you to give the recommendation to sell coins? Don't wait for me. I'm just kind of like, I'm not like the boss. I'm just an educator teaching you what I'm doing. But these are decisions you have to make for yourself. I don't think I would have said sell Bitcoin in a couple of months, unless I think I did say I might move from Bitcoin into cryptocurrency, into altcoins over the next couple of months. That's just something I might be paying more attention to. But at present, Bitcoin is the vast majority of my holdings. And that's the only reason I would be getting out of Bitcoin in the next couple of years, anytime in the next couple of years, is to go into some kind of altcoin. But I'll share that with you guys later on. Jenny. A couple more questions came to mind after writing my last ones. I just finished reading Vigilante's Crypto Cleaning and Becoming Invisible. So is it recommended to buy Bitcoin but then convert to Monero before selling it, or something like that to make sure it's clean? Vigilante recommends BISC or the Tor. Okay, these are all questions for Vigilantes. So you need to ask them this. I'm not even sure what they've recommended. I have not been through the Dollar Vigilante product. So Jeff's a good friend of mine. I have no doubt it's an excellent product. I just haven't been through it. I'm not slamming it at all. But I can't answer those questions about what they're recommending. There is some value or premium to anonymizing your coins. This is true. I think that's a universal truth. Can governments or other agencies or people come and find you and harass you and throw you in jail if you're using cryptocurrencies? Yes. Therefore, is it good to have anonymous coins, ones that are not tracked to you, ones that you did not buy on exchange with KYC and AML? Yes, there is some premium to that. Can you clean your coins via some of these mechanisms? Yes. What is the premium to you? How big a risk do you think those things are? And do you want to do it with all of your coins or just a small percentage of your coins? These are questions for you to ask. The only way for you to ask and answer. The only way for you to answer these questions is to educate yourself on economics, history, your government, what's the momentum, what's the direction, what's the trajectory of your government? Is it expanding? Is it shrinking? Is it invading your privacy? Is it becoming the nanny state? All these questions are something you have to answer, and it's not something that can be answered in a 20-second, like a YouTube answer. Like I can't do that. This is something that it will take time. But in the Success Council members area, there's an avalanche of resources to help you put the pieces together and build that puzzle so that you understand how much of a premium to put on anonymous coins. And I would say there's some. I have, at my level, it's quite difficult to have that many anonymous coins. It can be done, of course. But do I have all my coins anonymous? Absolutely not. Do I have some of my coins anonymous? Absolutely yes. Finally, do you have any info about alloidal land patent type? No, I don't have any information about that. I'm going to skip that question. Also, it seems like all these crypto and digital precious metal sites will only allow you to be yourself and not a trust. I'd like to do all of my assets untouchable. Keeping assets in a trust seems to be the best way. What kind of trust and how? That's a question for a CPA. I'm not allowed, I don't even know what country you're in, Jenny, so it would be different in different countries. And I'm not even allowed to answer that question. That's got to be a question for your CPA. Max Dude. Hi Max, I'm retired, living in the UK, but still have an income producing flat in South Africa near Cape Town. Relatively secure area. Should I sell my flat and buy Bitcoin, crypto, or leave the real estate or leave the real estate investment. P.S. I'm already invested in Bitcoin. Guys, these questions come back to your risk tolerance. I can only share with you what I think is going to happen. I think real estate is going to get hit pretty hard over the next couple of years. I think it's going to be going down. I think Bitcoin is going to be going up. Having said that, there are tax consequences to consider. I don't know what the tax consequences in South Africa are. Is there capital gains taxes? Those kinds of things. How much do you think real estate is going to go down? How much do you think Bitcoin is going to go up? Okay, that's one question. Next question is, do you want to put all your eggs in one basket, or do you want to have a balanced portfolio? I own some real estate, even though I think it's going to go down because I don't want to be 100% in one asset class. So these are the questions you have to answer. And there's just a million questions I would have to answer to ask you to understand your position, just to give you my advice, which I can't give you. So I can only teach you the things that I'm thinking about, and then you have to do your own thinking. I hope that helps. JP, DeFi is the new rage and privacy is a legacy pillar within crypto. Perhaps it would be interesting to look into emerging small caps at the cross-section of the two. Perhaps this and that, and two interesting projects to look at the cross-section. Absolutely, they would be interesting. Also, by the way, Success Academy has a couple of sections that reference Owings Group. A quick Google search shows that OG in quotes would suggest this advice is outdated. I will check into that. Yep, I'll check into that. Okay, Max. Talk to us about how you think about portfolio construction, both liquid and illiquid, and asset allocation, both across asset classes and within each asset class. Are you playing the wealth cycles as Mike Maloney discusses? If so, where are you heavy right now and where are you light? What are the signposts you're looking for the cycle to turn? And understanding no one perfectly predict the future, what actions in what assets do you anticipate taking as a result? Thanks. JP, excellent question. So I love the phrasing of this. Max, tell us how you're thinking about these things. Okay, so let's talk about liquid and illiquid stuff. So first of all, definition. Something like precious metals, cash, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, they're all very, very liquid stuff. You can turn them into cash very quickly and very easy. Things like stock market's also liquid. Real estate, it can be very, very illiquid. Art, very, very illiquid. So what am I doing here with regards to liquid, illiquid? As it turns out, I'm mostly liquid, which is just there's always upside to liquid. There's no downside to liquid, and there's no upside to illiquid. As it turns out, the asset classes that I think are the most interesting, going to explode the most over the next few years, are all liquid. So I'm pretty much 100% in liquid assets. As I mentioned, I have some real estate, which is illiquid, but the vast majority I am liquid. Okay, asset allocation across asset classes. So I have zero stock. I have plenty of crypto, I have plenty of precious metals, and I have some stock, some cash on hand. Let me talk a little bit about each of those. I have some cash available where I can get to it in case there's a run on the banks. I don't have lots of cash in the bank. Well, that's not true. As a percentage, I have a pretty small amount of cash in the bank. I have cash where I can get to it in multiple continents. I have like cash in vaults around the world that I can get to should I need to go, right? There's like extreme prepper planning type mentality here. What if you just have to get out of a country and you just have to get out of here with a shirt on your back? I have caches around the globe, several places I can get to, and I'm going to be fine. In each of those caches, I have cash, I have precious metals, I have cryptocurrency codes. I have all those things in all those caches. Okay, so this is where I'm at. Do I need everybody needs this? No, this is like extreme prepper planning, which is like to the nth degree something that I do because I sit around on board and can do this kind of stuff. You know, if you don't have a hell of a lot of money and a hell of a lot of time, do I think this is a serious real issue? Yeah, no. It's not high on the priority list for me. But I had the time. I traveled a lot anyway. Why not do it? All right. So that was me. But those are the kinds of things I'm thinking about. I'm also thinking about bank runs. I also have caches in the country that I'm in. So be aware of that. Was there another one? Oh yeah, also within each asset class, gold, silver, platinum, BTC versus alts. At the moment, I am a good 92, 93% in Bitcoin versus alts. I am a good, let's call it 70-30 crypto precious metals. And in the world of precious metals, I am, by dollar value, it might be 50-50 gold, silver. But again, my precious metals is, I would consider it rather illiquid. I bought precious metals way back when. I bought it in a way that was very secure and anonymous. To go trading it, gold's doing this, silver's doing this, and trading around and stuff, in an easy way would unanonymize it for me. So for me, it's because it's anonymized, it is rather illiquid. I can go and sell it whenever I want, but if I sold it on a major exchange or whatever, anything like that, it would unanonymize it for me. So I kind of leave those things and just let them be. Great questions, JP. All right, Mikey Byrne. Hi, Max. Thank you for this, firstly. I'm a day trader in Bitcoin and cryptos, doing fantastic. I joined for the internationalization section and info around international real estate. Would appreciate a reach out to answer some questions. Very interested to look at Second Passport. I've followed Jeff for many years now. In your videos, I'm right thinking about Jeff offers a service for this. I know he did. I assume he still does. I'm not sure. Only upon digging, there are a lot of people who have been let down by Jeff and this service to the point of them calling him out as a scam. Just so you know, I've never used this service of Jeff. People throw scam around all the time. It's just like, yeah, it's insane. So I take scams with a grain of salt. I'm just not saying, I've never tried the service. I think Jeff's a pretty honorable guy, so I'm not sure either way. I understand the nature of it all. I lived in Egypt during the revolution. I wondered if you could perhaps shed some light on the subject, as this was a few years ago, and I'm looking to refine my plan and get the ball rolling. Love, Jeff. Just need to find some clarity. Thanks, Max, and look forward to the Q&A. Okay, I want a little bit of a crash course on passports. So this is really difficult because I don't know what passport you have and where you live. But I will give you, just go down the checklist. First of all, there's several countries, if you happen to be born, like if you go back 3-4 generations and have a tie to those countries, there like countries like Poland, Italy, I think does Japan do it? No, maybe not. But there's a handful of countries where if you just have if you're 1/32 or 1/16 blood to that country, you can get a passport relatively easy as long as you can prove that and document that. That's your first port of call because passports cost very little amount in that area. If beyond that, the next way is to go and live somewhere for a couple of years, the equivalent of getting a green card, doing the whole process. That's a whole process. You can try that. And then the third step, if none of those two work, then you can just pay for one. Countries like St. Kitts and plenty of others, you can just go ahead and buy your passport. So all of those things are options, and it depends on your situation and which one you kind of go for. But that's the order of which I would investigate second passports. Dear Max, I have the same question as somebody else below. I'm putting as much as I can into gold and silver and Bitcoin, and while I wait for those investments to appreciate, I intended to plan my next move. Obviously, there will be many opportunities when that time comes, both locally in Hawaii and globally. And I have to wait and see what opportunities present themselves. That said, your present thoughts on where to go next interest me greatly. Alexander. So what I'm predicting is during this crash, real estate and stock markets get smashed. It's going to be one of two things. We're going to go deflationary spiral, and those things get smashed, and everything kind of hurts, but those things get hurt the most. The reason being they're the most leveraged. Alternatively, there's a hyperinflation. They print like Maine, and the money crazy, and the price of everything goes up, and the value of the dollar collapses. Now, when the things go up, they don't go up at the same rate. It'll be a question mark as to what's going up and what's of the most value and things like that. In all these cases, in the hyperinflation example, what's going to go up very, very well is things like precious metals and Bitcoin, because people will still need a currency to transact, and you can't transact with ownership shares in real estate or a stock market. You can't go and buy your groceries with your Apple certificate. That doesn't work. What does work is gold and precious metals. So the gold and precious metals is going to go up, and silver are going to go up extremely well if there's a hyperinflation. If there is a massive deflation, initially you'll see the price of everything get hit hard, but what will happen is that we will go, people will become savers, they will hoard, they will, what else are they going to do? Demand will go down, prices will go down, so it would seem like cash would be a pretty good place to be. However, serious deflation, the likes of which, like we saw Great Depression style, if that happened again, now banks are in so much more trouble that what you would see is banks collapse. You would lose your money as a depositor. It would happen all over the world. Boom, 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 boom. This country, that country, that country. A bank goes under and depositors lose their money. There would be a run on the banks, and the banks would be exposed with their fractional reserve banking, and the currency, the bank would collapse anyway. Currency, cash would not be trusted. Maybe cash would, physical paper, but leaving your money in the bank, lots of money would go away. People would not feel safe storing their money there in the banks. And so what would they do? They would go to Bitcoin, precious metals, cryptocurrency. And so in either scenario, those two are going to be the two of the best performers, all right? In one of the scenarios, stock market and real estate will do okay compared to cash. In the other scenario, cash will do way, way better than stock market and real estate. But in either situation, cryptocurrency, precious metals will do very, very well. That's my strategy. On the flip side of all of that, once those things if real estate gets destroyed, if stock market gets destroyed, which I think one way or another it will, then you come in at the bottom of that market and put your money into there, because then you get cash flow. You're buying cash flow. That's what I love. Believe it or not, I'm a total cash flow guy, but at the moment I'm in all non-cash flow assets like Bitcoin, precious metals, and cash, just because I think those other things are going to get crushed hard. Will you be addressing when to buy and sell Bitcoin, silver, and gold? Yes, I'll let members know via email. You have to make sure you're getting my emails. Make sure you mark never send them to spam. They come from max@successcouncil.com. If you haven't done it, go into your Gmail, your Yahoo, your Hotmail, do it now, whitelist that name. Considering the likelihood of an upcoming bail-in, where would be the best spot to position cash, especially if you have your business where you need some reserve? Let me see, do I have Success Council members area here handy? I'm going to, yeah, actually right here, I believe. There's Jeff Berwick right there. There's Cash Bonanza. 10x your, in the members area, 10x your cash returns. How to hold your cash, in my opinion, 10 times safer and get 10 times the return of holding it in a bank. Watch that video. Nope. No, where am I going? It's over here, no? Aha. We here? Consider like when's the best spot to hold cash? Yes, that was that. Okay. Also, really curious why we weren't on BitChute library and on YouTube, because way more people have YouTube logins than the other two. But at some point, if there's anyone out there who wants to help me put all my videos on BitChute and library, I would really appreciate that. And I will, I would love to get my videos on there too. I'm just not doing it very well. Sassy Pants again. Someone may have had this already. I have perused the comments and didn't see it. But what gold and silver firm do you recommend that also takes crypto as payment and that is not based in the USSA, but those of us trapped here can still buy? Thanks. Actually, nothing jumps to my mind. In the US, you've got Gold Silver with Mike Maloney. I think it's a very good service where you can buy Bitcoin, you can buy precious metals with crypto. Outside of the US, I'm not up to date on who does that. So sorry, I can't help you there, Sass. I have a worry, intuitive feeling that the entire crypto sphere has been created by the players that are enslaving us and a huge trick on us, get us to put our money in and then screw us. I realize that we can keep the funds in hard wallets, but if this is the case, it can be drastically reduced ways to use and also slash the value. I would love to hear your thoughts on is this very real possibility scenario and how you can protect against it happening. This is not a real scenario. Sassy, don't worry about it. Put it out of your mind. If the reason being all the cryptocurrency code is open source, they can I can't because I'm not a coder, but millions of people have reviewed this stuff. People have dedicated their lives to creating crypto projects and building the most incredible, wonderful DeFi projects, anonymous coins. These guys have been through this code inside and out, and there is nothing nefarious in there. So if it was created, if the Satoshi Nakamoto is the CIA, he screwed up because he just gave us the keys to the kingdom to get out of the existing world. So don't put that fear out of your mind. It's not a concern. What percentage do you recommend gold, silver, Bitcoin, and cash in someone's portfolio? Great question, Natalie. I answered that above. Patricia, what rate of fees do you expect when buying Bitcoin? Funding cost, exchange cost, and the inevitable Bitcoin network transaction fee. Do you have any suggestions on how to lower fees? No, the buying Bitcoins are very, very competitive, and you get a really great price pretty much wherever you go. Maybe local Bitcoin's a little bit premium sometimes for trusted people, but that's, yeah, on exchanges you're going to get a very great price. Network fees, there is a site you can just go to, and I forget what it is. Let me see. I'll come up here and go. I'll type into Google Bitcoin fee I think that's it. Bitcoin fee calculator. The number one fee, current optimal fees. There is it. Buybitcoinworldwide.com. Go ahead and click on that, and it will tell you. You get to if you want your transaction confirmed within 60 minutes or 20 minutes or 20 minutes, you choose. It's like, this is a high priority transaction. I need this to be taken up by the blockchain within 2 blocks. And it will tell you, you do need to know your inputs and your outputs. And it will tell you, here it is, 101 Satoshis per byte. And so this is the site I use to figure out my transaction. Is it a low priority one? Do I not care if this transaction doesn't go through for 2 days? I click here, you see now I can pay 3 Satoshis per byte. So that's the site I use for that. It is called buybitcoinworldwide.com. Patricia, I'm loving the work you put together. I'm so excited to jump in. Thank you, Max. My question is, let's say I have 10K to invest in Bitcoin. My finance training tells me to invest it over the next 10 weeks at 1K per week. Would I be better off on another schedule? Where would you strike the balance between buying on a high data and missing out on 9 weeks of gain? Yeah, I get it. It's like you're dollar cost averaging in. That's a good idea. Look, let me bring it over here. This is my Bitcoin chart here. Bitcoin's on a little bit of a tear. I'm going to bring it over so you can see it. Bitcoin's on a little bit of a tear here. Just hit up here at 12.4. I don't think 12.4 is a point of resistance. I think the next point of line of resistance is up around the 13s. It's up around here. There's got it, there. So right now, today, I think 12 grand's a really good price. I am predicting one big more slaughter sometime this year of both precious metals and cryptocurrency. So maybe, but is that 100% going to happen? No. So I think right now is a good little time to buy. I think we're going to run up to about 13 or so here in this current little run. Having said that, I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to come down to probably not 6, but maybe down to 8. I think that is a possibility. And so maybe you want to get in now and save a little bit more in case it comes down into the 8s. Anything below 10, as soon as you see it bottom out there, I would grab that if I were you. It won't just be Bitcoin, by the way. This will be everything. You'll see the stock market get hit. You'll see everything get hit. I'm predicting one more of those. Just like March this year. March 2020, everything got hit. I'm expecting one more, everything get hit. But we'll keep our eyes out and see if that actually comes to fruition. Do you see any benefits of having non-CUSIP precious metals that cannot be tracked, apparently? I'm unfamiliar with this term. And precious metals, it's not, the metals can, not worrying about the metals being tracked. What you're worried about is that the point of purchase, the purchase being tracked and being registered in some database somewhere. I'm not worried about coins being tracked. My question is the same as below. Catherine, hey Max, I've just started to go through the Success Council and I'm really enjoying it. I might be getting ahead of myself, but thinking about investing in rental property in the future, as you discussed in your video. Here in the UK, we can't get tax relief on mortgage expenses anymore, which affects those calculations you were doing in your video. Will you be discussing potential ways around this sort of thing in order for us to pay less tax? I definitely will not be discussing UK real estate tax. That is way out of my purview. If I discuss tax at all, I'm in the US. I generally will be doing my buying in the US, although I may not this next time around. I might buy around the world a little bit. So only if I buy in the UK, which I can't imagine I would I be discussing UK tax stuff. So sorry about that. You need to speak to a tax consultant in your jurisdiction. Alan, hello Max. I'm concerned with my situation. I have money to invest. However, I have 8 properties rented out in London. At the moment, the LTV ratio is approximately 66%. I've been told as long as I maintain a healthy positive cash flow over the coming years, I will be fine. I'm not sure you would agree with that. Can you give me some advice, please? As I mentioned, I think the great cities around the world, the high-end cities like London, Singapore, Sydney, Vancouver, I think they're going to get hit pretty hard. Your LTV is good at 66%. I'm glad that it's not too high, but I would be concerned that you're going to lose all your equity. That would be my fear, because I think real estate is going to get hurt. So what can I do? Give you some advice? I mean, I would, if you can get a great price, and I don't know the tax circumstances there. I'm not sure the capital gains complications. There's a whole bunch of other things you need to consider here, Alan. But if 100% of your net wealth is tied up in real estate, that would have me concerned too. I would like to see a little bit. I would like to see some balance. I'd like to see more of it in other asset classes, specifically Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, precious metals. Bitcoin basics. Hi Max, can you explain the best passive income opportunities we should be looking to invest after the big run up? Do you have passive income in crypto, or is it traditional real estate like that? My plan is to wait until to sell out to gold to preserve my wealth. Not a bad plan to go to wealth, but again, I am looking for passive income. And at the moment, I'm looking at traditional real estate, but there's some very interesting, what would we call it, passive income opportunities coming through in the crypto world. And that may be a very interesting play, but I will get to that in a couple of years when it's time to do that. But for right now, I am thinking about real estate in a couple of years, not now. The market spotlights are on DeFi, bull market, and all the buzz and FOMO of the moment. But what about black swan events, or more correctly, white swan events? Can you give us your take on the traps and potential surprises that might surface? And if when they do happen, how can we be prepared for them, hedge, or even take advantage of them? There are many possibilities, but this is one. Let's go through it. Calvin Ayre and CSW are wrecking balls and have publicly stated that they want to destroy altcoins and have Bitcoin go to zero. They would if they could, as when they initiated a hash war with the purpose of destroying BCH. So what if they're successful in using their mine farms to crack the keys to Satoshi wallets, then cash burn, blah, blah, blah. Maybe other Success Council members can think of black swan events and should be prepared for it. I'm not too worried about this event. If this happened, I think it's very unlikely that it would happen. If it did happen, let's say that happened, I think the Bitcoin community would change things very, very quickly, and they would increase the length of the private key, making it much, much harder to get, and I think solve the problem that way. So I don't even think that's it would be a shock to the system, but I don't think it would be tragic. Next, so what was the core question? How do we manage black swans? Okay, I mean, the only way to manage black swans is to get out ahead of them, or to be diversified, right? You want to use, it's the balance, right? You want to be super knowledgeable about something. You want to be focused. I'm not a big fan of this like crazy diversification, but yeah, the way to manage black swans is that you don't want to be 100% all in on something. And that's the way you manage black swan. I don't have any other way to do that. So I think that answers that question. All right, Nigel. As fiat drops in purchasing power, should we look to switch to a crypto-based debit card like crypto, or we make money in crypto? Yeah, whether or not you use a debit card is not a big deal. That's just convenience. Yeah, that's something to work towards. I can see that. The crypto, as long as the fees are low and it's cheaper than an alternative way of doing it and the other steps, then a crypto debit card is fine. Something to work towards. I have cash in a self-directed IRA. What do you recommend? Where do you recommend in transferring those funds? Or would you recommend in a Bitcoin IRA? We're into tax advice here. And so I don't have a retirement account. I recognized very early on that it was nonsense. I'd rather just pay the tax up front and not be in it and not rely, because not have all these rules, and so I can think freely. So I'm not a big expert on the self-managed funds, but if you got the money in there, I don't know. I don't understand the difference between a self-directed IRA and a Bitcoin IRA. Can't a self-directed IRA just buy Bitcoin and now it's a Bitcoin IRA? So I'm confused by this question, and I'm not an expert on retirement vehicles at all. Thank you, Max. Invaluable. Tim. The tax lien you talked about to invest in has many other critical things to understand. What other options are there? I believe you're looking, if you're going to hold cash, how can I hold cash in a relatively safe way? I refer you back to this one, 10x your cash returns. So there's secure your cash by real estate, that's tax liens. Secure your cash with what's mentioned in this section, which is the gold lending. Hey Max, I understand this is not financial advice, but would appreciate your view. If you had recently sold property to position for the coming changes, what ratios would you invest gold and silver? Okay, we got this ratio question a lot. Depends on so many things, and I've kind of answered for it. I understand that's the most interesting thing, but I need to understand a lot of things about your situation to even have an opinion. Once I have an opinion, I can't give the opinion. So, hi Max, most cryptos crashed along with the rest of the stock market in March. I think it's highly probable that the market will crash in the near future. I agree wholeheartedly. Maybe not as dramatically, due in part to the poor handling of the pandemic. Do you think crypto will also crash again with the stock market? The answer is yes, I do, Rick. That is one component of my prediction for one more big crash. But then I think it will decouple, and Bitcoin precious metals will not, they will recover the fastest compared to stock market and other things. So that's my thoughts there. If you had physical cash, dollar bills, what would you invest in? The only reason to have physical cash, in my opinion, is to keep it and just out of the banking system. Put it somewhere safe, bury it in the backyard, whatever. Now, if you have cash, there's a question like balancing your portfolio. And so I think it's good to have some physical cash, dollar bills outside of the banking system and accessible to you. You never know when ATMs are going to get shut down and bank accounts are going to get frozen, all those things. So it's a good idea to have dollar bills. The only reason to have them is to have them as dollar bills. If you're going to invest them, it doesn't matter if you wire someone money or have dollar bills. So this question becomes the same as what do you invest in? Right now, cryptocurrency, precious metals. Loved your great wealth transfer presentation, Max. When you explain how 5K invested wisely and at the right time could potentially make $100,000 a year at the bottom of the crash, does that factor in the massive inflation and money printing that will continue over the next 18 months? Or do you mean that whatever 100K, the numbers might look different. If the government prints a whole bunch of money, the numbers will look different, but the principles I taught in that webinar will be true, will be accurate, in my opinion. I took Jeff's advice and invested in gold and silver. Things went up by 33% in the last month. I intended to relocate to Mexico. Actually, I think I've answered this question. What do you think about carrying assets across borders? I actually already answered this question on email. And yeah, you don't want to carry precious metals across borders if you can help it. It can be done. It's not particularly pleasant. And so if you're driving across, different. If you're through the airports, not so much. But if you're going to drive across, that makes it a lot more palatable. What else do we have? Can you go to Monero? Yes, you can do it by going to Monero. I would prefer to travel with cryptocurrency internationally than precious metals, so I would do it that way. I believe there's a chance for a major false flag event prior to the election. Can you discuss the potential effects on the financial markets? Well, I think the false flag event could be the next market crash. I think they're going to crash one more time before the election. I think Trump's getting too close and they have to try and destroy him. So they're going to try and do another crash before the election. And so that's another reason I'm adding into why I think there's going to be one more crash, everything crash like March of 2020 before the election. Hey Max, thanks for being so accessible and attempting to answer all of our questions. I'm new to cryptocurrencies and I found your 2020 Bitcoin update video to be very helpful. I just purchased the Ledger Nano and look forward to learning how to use it. I can't help but wonder if this device could ever break. Is it important to have a few of these devices as backup coins? Also, I read a comment about spending Bitcoin on a debit card. Is that a good idea? So we have other options besides selling Bitcoin for cash, which may go extinct. I'll answer that before I expand. Great work on the Ledger. What you can do, the Ledger allows you to back up your coins with pieces of paper. You write down what's called a seed. It's a bunch of words, usually 12 or 24, and you write down these seed, and that's your backup. Buying multiple nanos will not, or ledgers I should say, will not back up your first nano. So you don't need to buy multiples to back it up. You do need to follow the instructions of the Ledger to back them up. What's the other one? Debit card, no problem with debit card. Oh, hello, that's a lot of text. Yeah, no problem with a debit card, go for your life. Also recommends a company called Gold Money where they do that debit card. Yep, that's fine. He says it's a good emergency fund to have access to. Yep, I buy that. I'm familiar with Gold Money, by the way. I think they're a good company. Vigilante also mentions investing in gold, silver, mining stocks. I don't do the mining stocks thing. I know a lot of people do, but that's fine. You said in the webinar that the stock market will be no good. Yeah. See, I think they can crush everything in the stock market by changing margin requirements and doing a whole bunch of other things. There's also like 17 counterparty risks, although I think Jeff does have a product which helps you hold your stock certificates that you buy in a way without third-party counter risks, so that might alleviate that issue. But yeah, I don't do the mining stocks. And you already answered one of my questions, when to invest in Bitcoin. I guess we wait a few months on that. And finally, the big question of the hour, you said that $5,000 could turn into $100,000 per year of income. So when do I purchase the 5K of Bitcoin? Now, nowish, soonish, nowish. Now's the time. Yes, there might be one more big pullback if you want to try and wait for that, but there might not be. Maybe now's the time. But we're talking now, like sometime now. Nowish, now's the time to do it. And then when you say we sell, probably in a couple of years, but I'll let you know via email. And once we sell, do we just transfer? I'll tell you what to do at the time, because the world might look very, very different then. But basically, we're trying to buy cash flow producing assets then. Yep, same question. Finally, I just want to say you seem to have a warm, authentic, nurturing, human, positive vibe that really comes through in your videos. Probably less in this videos because I got to answer 100 questions, but thank you for the kind words. I'm glad the Vigilante recommended you, and your speech on not making promises really resonates with me. I can relate entirely. Thanks for all your help, and you are a true philanthropist. Thank you so much. I'm going to give that a thumbs up. That's so sweet. Should I dare open the replies? Let's hear it. Maybe there's people saying, what are you talking about? He's a doofus. No, I'm also curious about that. Still attempting to sign up. Oh, none of the replies are about me. That's just terrible. Let's make it more about me, team. No, please don't. That will slow down the reading of the questions. Don't give me compliments in these videos as much as I love them. It'll slow down the reading of the videos. Okay, hi Max. I'm in Australia and I'm thinking of setting up a self-managed super fund to purchase gold and silver. Do you have any recommendations or resources of this? I don't have resources, but Google will take care of you for that. Have you heard of the new ERC20 token? No, I have not. What is the best coin storage? How much should you keep on exchanges versus a warm or cold wallet? Depending on the amount. If you have $20 in Bitcoin, I wouldn't bother keeping any of it in cold storage. If you have $1 million in cold storage, I'd keep. If you have $1 million in Bitcoin, I'd keep 95% of it in cold storage. So it depends. I can't tell you that. Cold storage significantly safer than any other way, and so the big amounts that you're not going to use for a long time, put it in cold storage. What's the best way to do coin storage? The best way to do coin storage is with a product called Bitcoin Armory. If you go to Bitcoin Armory site, it's actually no longer being handled by the official team that started it, and they redirect you to another site, and it is still being maintained by other people. But Bitcoin Armory is the gold standard. It's a headache, and I only recommend it. I wouldn't bother getting into that level until you're into the $1 million. If you don't have $1 million worth of Bitcoin, don't do Armory. If you only have 6 figures of it, go ahead and do Ledger or what's the other one? Trezor or Ledger. That's what I would do until you got $1 million worth of crypto. After that, go ahead and do Armory, and then it makes it easy to split your coins up. So I can't even get the vast majority of my coins. I got to fly around to 3 different continents and assemble the keys because I'm a public figure. People know I have crypto. I can't make myself a target. So you come to me and say, give me crypto, I can't give it to you. That's the reason I go to those lengths. If you're a private citizen, no one knows it, you even manage to buy them anonymously, there's a different level of standard, but I have to be very, very vigilant with my security. You can't get it. I can't get it. It's just too hard to get. But that's the price of being a public figure. Great vid, Max. Thanks for your time and support. It would be helpful if sometime in the future you might be able to provide some general suggestions of those of us who are saddled with a conventional brick and mortar business here in the States. I'm in California, have a solid dental practice in a small mountain community, and for many years been looking for ways to protect my family and assets in the midst of these increasingly dystopian times without having to bug out entirely. Likewise, I agree with your sentiment expressed in the TDV symposium about the US really being the last stronghold and battleground for the fight against global tyranny. I do have options for bugging out off the grid locally and internationally. My wife of many years is Thai, and we have some land investments and solid family support in that country. However, things are getting pretty bad over there too, and more importantly, either know I can be adaptable when necessary. I'm in a small mountain town, born and bred kid, go down swinging rather than hang it all, leave it on the runway. Somewhere else, especially if it involves a lot of cosmopolitan engagement. Anyway, I know you're really busy and I don't expect a personal response. However, I think there are maybe others like myself who are pretty grounded and not quite ready to be pushed out that would benefit from your advice in this regard. Thanks so much. Peace. Yeah, a lot there, Brian. All I can tell you is you're thinking all the right thoughts. Like, you're asking yourself all the right questions, but I can't do any of the answering of the questions for you. You've got yourself an option in Thailand. That's awesome. You're doing better than most. You're, like a mountain-bred kid. You're rough, you're tough, you're adaptable. You've made yourself strong. You're in a great spot physically, personally, mentally. You're doing all the right things. You're in California. That's a bit rough, but I get it. You've got a dental practice there. You've got a whole clientele there. But you could sell that business, move somewhere else in the States if you wanted to. That's a possibility. Also, I don't know, there's just a lot of things going on there, but all I can tell you, Brian, is you're thinking all the right things. So, but there's a premium, a risk premium I'll put on all of those issues, and that's a question for you to decide. I can't decide that. There's too many subtleties within that. Do I have anything for a small brick and mortar business person? What can they do? I don't know, you're a dentist, you have no doubt you're making plenty of money as a dentist. Starting new skills and becoming like an online entrepreneur to make yourself more mobile would be useful, but is it worth the while to do that now? I'm not saying it would. I would just say, work hard as a dentist. I think you're probably your shortest path, best path. Work hard as a dentist, make lots of money, and then use that money to develop your investing skills. Come along with invest in Bitcoin, precious metals, etc., all the things we're talking about. That, I think, is the best path for you. That's what I would do if I were you. Also, how do you feel about using CoinSpot? Never heard of it. They use two-factor authentication. That's good. Max, I'm a fellow Aussie and love your work. My family and I are currently stuck in metropolitan Melbourne under Andrew's tyranny and trying to escape to a better part of Australia permanently. Could you suggest a state or region? I haven't lived in Australia for 10 years. I visited, but I haven't lived there, so no, I can't answer that. Sorry. And these things go with elections. I don't know, this guy in Victoria is hated right now. There'll be a huge pushback against him. He'll be voted out. And the most unwoke what are they called? Premiers in Australia will be the next Victorian guy. It's going to be this huge ebb and flow. People will push back against the stupidity of this. And so, I don't know, I wouldn't be rushing to go out. I forget how long the terms are in Victoria, or in Australia, but yeah, I wouldn't be rushing to move out. Yeah. One other question for me, I just have to ask, what are your thoughts about Ripple? I have been a holder for a while, and it was my first coin that I bought into. There's been talk, maybe FOMO, that XRP is backed to gold. If it was, that would not be helpful. I have noticed that the price of some altcoins and Bitcoin does appear to correlate with gold and silver. Why does that happen? Right now, that has not always been the case, but right now there does seem to be some correlation. And the reason being is I think people are starting to understand that they are hedges against a crashing dollar. And so I think they used to invest, people invested in them for different reasons, but now a lot more people are coming into both precious metals and cryptocurrency for the same reason, so you're going to see higher correlation. There's a read more. Oh, thank you. Are you familiar with Bullion Star in Singapore? No. And do you think it's a good PM storage place? No. If you're going to go to Singapore, I'm not familiar with Bullion Star, so I don't want to say anything negative about them. I use Silver Bullion in Singapore. I've met Gregor Gregerson, the CEO. There's some interviews with Gregor in the members area, and I think he's a rock star. I think it's a really good company, and so I really endorse Silver Bullion in Singapore for precious metal storage. Hi Max, thank you. I'm looking forward to everything. My questions are, what things do you look for and how do you research the next coin jump to be? Also, I'm a slow reader and so still get through the content on your site. Excellent resource, by the way. Though my next move will be getting interested in setting up crypto self-managed super fund. By the way, for people not in Australia, self-managed super fund is like a self-directed retirement vehicle to manage my superannuation. What are some key important things I need to know about setting up in regards to trusts? I can't help you with trusts in Australia. As I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there are different types of trusts to register as. Yes, there are, but that's a question for a CPA in Australia. Gold mining stocks? I have no idea. Are you a fan of the crypto? Hang on, did I miss a question up here? No, I'm not a fan of the trading bots. Did I miss this? Oh, how do I research? I did miss a question. How do I research the next altcoin? Okay, good question. So first of all, I start very, very high level, and I think about what am I trying? What is Bitcoin? What does the crypto world need? And so I think the two things that I think they need the most is one, DeFi, and two, anonymous coins. That's coins that really focus on anonymity. So that will almost certainly be the two places I start. Then I go and do a deep dive on all the things that I look at and need in there. By the way, I haven't bought any Chainlink, but I just started this, and I think Chainlink, at the beginning of my research, looks like a phenomenal product. I'm busy answering your guys' questions, so I haven't got into Chainlink yet, but I think I'm going to go ahead and get into Chainlink here soon. And so that is part of the reason why it's an incredibly important piece of the infrastructure for the DeFi world. And I'm excited by the DeFi world. I think it's the next horizon along with anonymity. By the way, the DeFi world inherently gives you anonymity. So that's why that's one of those cool things. So I think I will probably focus more of my time and attention on the DeFi world as opposed to the standalone coins that live in their own little world just trying to be anonymous. I think the DeFi world, you can go to a decentralized exchange and change all your stuff around and boom, you're anonymous. So I really think that DeFi is going to solve two problems with one stone. So DeFi is looking very, very good. Hey Max, I'm interested. Oh, and how do I learn? I mean, all the normal ways. I look on YouTube, I go and read the white papers of the coins, I go and just looking for experts on the coins and trying to get those high levels. And then if I can, I'll try and get the creators of those coins on my YouTube channel and we'll do some interviews with them and let them explain their stuff in their own words. Hey Max, I'm interested in your favorite exchanges to trade on and if you recommend any type of debit ATM card. Thank you. I'm currently on Kraken, and that's all at the moment, actually. I'm just on Kraken. That's changed over the years, and I will start expanding that soon as I pay more attention to alts, but I haven't been doing that much. So at the moment, I'm in Kraken. Yeah. Max, how important is it that we clean up Bitcoin that we own? I've answered that question before. It depends on your situation is the answer. Hi Max, great little video. Okay, so in the UK, currently selling my house to get out of real estate and move to Europe to a remote location before the food starts to get scarce. 2 months to having cash in my pocket. Intent to buy crypto, 30% metals, 40% euros, 30% for buying land and eating. Okay, question 1. That split, does that seem preposterous to you? I don't know, what word you're looking for there. That is all my capital and I am a medium risk type. That sounds pretty medium risk. That sounds pretty reasonable. Question 2, precious metals. Using cash to purchase at under 5,000 euros should make it anonymous in the UK, so several trips to get my required amount. But the actual question is, global holding companies or holding locally buried in the ground, bullions or coin? Again, I've answered this question. It depends on how much. So, flying around gets expensive. So, to put $100 worth of precious metals in another continent doesn't make a lot of sense. But, so you have to weigh up what premium do you put on having international spread? What premium do you put on having a professional insurance, professionally insured vault secure it? And what are the costs involved? And you got to weigh that up. It's a very personal question. But your spread sounds pretty good, by the way. When you suggested a possibility of holding fiat for a short term, did you mean literally holding paper or in the bank? Yeah, as best as possible, you hold the paper. And for how long in real terms? December 2020 or just June 2021? Yeah, I think by the end of this year, you want to be out of... The only reason I still have some currency, I have a little bit for emergencies, but generally I just think there might be one more big pullback, and at the bottom of that pullback, I'll be jumping in. I'll let you know when I do that via email. Question 4, did I skip on? No, question 4. I had thought that if this gets really bad, then having real stock of something might be worth it. Your thoughts on holding 1,000 solar panels and associated electronics well stored and secure for resale and release of capital. Yeah, it's a final one. It's a reasonable strategy. It's bulky, and if they're in use, they can be seen. And also, it's a rapidly depreciating asset because it's technology. So the cost, the performance of a solar panel goes up double every year or something like that, or every 18 months. And so 18 months later, your solar panel is basically worth half, because the new one, which costs the same to produce, now produces twice the amount of electricity. So just something to consider with regards to solar panels. But that kind of creative thinking and holding wealth in some kind of other useful thing, I wouldn't do it as a business. I wouldn't do it as stock up on before you can sell it later. But I would be open to it. I wouldn't do it as just to protect yourself, make sure you can have electricity. I guess that's a valid prepper maneuver for sure. Question 5, how do you spend crypto in Europe on gasoline and food? Recommendations for spendable altcoins or preloaded MasterCards or something like this I don't know about. So I don't know about that. I mean, I don't hold crypto to spend it, not now anyway. I hold it to hoard it because I think it's going up. So I'm not up to date on debit cards and things like that. Where are we? Hi Max, thank you for being so accessible. I've been investing in crypto and precious metals before I found out about you. At BTC last high, I kept waiting for the advice of the firm I was following with, and it never came to be. I've held on and through all this time, but like your story of the hotel builder, I could have sold at the high and kept 90% reinvested. Oh, there's a lot of questions. And I know this question. Dana, I've answered you on email. Okay. Who is accurate at calling the tops and bottoms? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I like to, when it comes to other than me, of course, I like to focus on people. I like to go and look at their YouTube history. Are they making good go bad? When I find a new exciting crypto channel, I don't watch the video they just released. I go back and watch the video they released a year ago and see what they said then and see if it came true. You start noticing they have a consistent pattern of getting it right, and then you found yourself a good person who's making predictions. That being concerned, here are my concerns at this time around the world as we live in a very different world. Using your crystal ball, how do we back out of BTC into a safe asset? Don't worry about this question, guys. It's going to be so simple. It's going to get easier, not harder. Bitcoin's going to become more useful. More people are going to understand it. More banks are going to use it. More vendors are going to use it. You want to buy a house, you've got much more chance of finding someone who wants to sell their house in crypto than you do in 2 years rather than right now. Bitcoin's going to explode, go through the roof. Don't stress about how you're going to sell your Bitcoin. It's going to be a piece of cake. 2, where do we sell? Don't worry about it. It's a piece of cake. 3, when the time comes, how do we back out of physical gold and silver? Same thing. Like, it's just these things. It's so easy. Don't worry about all these things. It's going to be a piece of cake to sell all of these things. 4. Do you see that there is time between the taking profits from crypto to transferring into land and it's low? In other words, which will come first? No, I don't know the answer to that. Which will come first? I'll have a better idea of that as we get closer. What are your thoughts on companies that offer a Visa card attached to gold and silver and crypto? No problem with those at all. That's a fine idea. Last for now, how free do you see us being able to live if they get total control of humanity? Yeah, well, that's the war, right? And there's no point being rich if you're, living in Stalin's Russia or Mao Zedong's China. And so that's the fight, and we got to fight it. So is it a really serious concern? Yeah. So fight like your life depends on it, because it does. Thoughts on taking equity out of your home property in very high side of market bubble and putting into PMs? Or just sell the home and enter back into real estate when the market tanks. Thank you. The former is the better way. And if you want to do that, I think that will turn out to be a very wise decision. But we'll see. We'll see. It's kind of like, that's the whole basis of my teaching. So yes. Cash flow. I am not a US citizen. I live in Europe. Once the real estate market has come down, is there a way how I could invest in apartments, etc., in other countries? First of all, yes, that's generally very, very easy to do. And just FYI, I think I'm going to have an incredible amount of deal flow. Like, I'm going to have a lot of money to invest in real estate. And so what I think, I could just go and buy, a handful of big buildings or whatever. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go and buy a big building. But then before it even settles, I'm going to say, hey guys, I just bought this. I bought it for myself. If I buy it for myself, so be it. What I'll do is, hey members, if you want to buy a portion of this building, you can come in with me. We'll be a buyer's syndicate. I'll put a premium on that of something. And then I'll make money for finding you the deal. But then I didn't use all of my money, so I can go and buy another building and do the same thing, and another building and do the same thing. So I anticipate bringing deals to all of you when that time comes, which is one of the reasons why I grew Success Council in the first place. I always knew that my end goal, I knew what my end goal was. I know that you guys, the reason you bought the product and associate yourself with me is because I think to some degree you agree with me and you're going to want the deals. Well, I can be of service to you then and provide you with deals. After a crash, should I invest in real estate if I can only invest the sum of, say, $20,000? Yeah, sure. What is it? I'll give you I had dinner with a guy about 2 months ago. It was in Florida, and he had a retirement account of $240,000. In 2009, he got a self-directed retirement account and so had $240,000 to spend. He bought 8 properties in Florida, 8. Average price about $30,000 each with his $240,000. Each house was renting for about $1,300 a month. You do the math on that, that's a 50% cash flow on cash return. He bought them all cash, no leverage. Had he have got leverage, he probably would have got well over 100% cash flow on cash return. So yeah, $20,000, can you buy a house for $20,000? Absolutely, absolutely. And then imagine with $20,000, boom, you got yourself an income of, let's say $1,000 a month. Yeah, boom, your income, you went from $20,000 to buying an income of $12,000 a year. That's phenomenal stuff. You can't do that now. It's impossible to do now. But after the crash, you will be able to. Other choices for creating real cash flow. Yeah, there'll be more, but and high dividend paying stock is another one. But yeah, I think real estate's my fave. Great information in this course with a lot of transparency, which is lovely. I'm still making my way through the content, but I'm listening to G. Edward Griffin. It was a real confirmation of things I simply did not have the words to articulate. It seems to me that for as long as I can remember, the government has been making what I view as expected welfare payments to the crack-dealing bankers since Baby Bush. Yes. Is the ratio suggested for metals 16-1, meaning holding gold to silver? Just curious what you think. Well, let's make sure this isn't the same. One question is, can you recommend an easier site besides Kraken to deposit US funds? Is Coinbase easier? I think Coinbase might be a little easier. So yeah, Coinbase might be a little easier, but I think they're both good sites. I think I did use Coinbase several years back, and they were fine. I use Kraken now. I don't even remember why I switched. But yeah, they're both good sites. Okay, this question. No, the ratio of 16:1. That is the ratio of gold and silver found in the earth. What you should hold, or that would depend on the relative value at the time. And what you want to look at is ratios. So I think anything over a ratio of the price, the gold to silver ratio, anything over 40, 50 to 1, if it takes 40 ounces of silver to buy an ounce of gold, anything over 40, I'm buying silver exclusively. I'm not buying gold. In terms of value, like if I want to, sometimes I buy something because I want to hold in one fist $100,000. I can't do that with silver. I can do that with gold. So there's other reasons to buy it. But in terms of the ratio, that ratio of 16:1 is just, that was part of your education, is understanding the natural ratio of precious metals in the ground is 16 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold. Great information in this course with well, have I read this? Did I just read this? Oh, it was doubled. What's up with cryptocurrency Chainlink? It has been going through the roof some time now, has bypassed this, and this, is number 5 in market cap. Do you know why it is so successful? Would you still buy at this level? Still buying at this level is the good question. And the answer is I think I would. I haven't done my deep dive on that, but I'll give you 2 seconds on Chainlink. The biggest problem right now in Chainlink, in the cryptocurrency world is the problem of Oracle. What's the problem of Oracle? You've got this whole brand new infrastructure called blockchain. It's incredibly well, like as Bitcoin, just works by itself. It's solved a lot of problems, but one of the problems it has not managed to solve is that you got this smart contract. So first of all, there was digital money, Bitcoin. Then there were smart contracts, Ethereum. Smart contracts are if this, then that, pay that person. Okay, in order to execute those smart contracts, generally, for the vast majority of use cases, you need real world information. For example, we can do a smart contract. If Trump wins the election, pay me $20. If Biden wins the election, pay you $20. So we both put $10 into the smart contract, and the smart contract will pay whoever wins. The question is, how does that blockchain, how does that smart contract find out who won, Trump or Biden? The way he finds out is with oracles. Oracles is someone who sits there and says, I'm going to provide blockchain with trusted data. So I'm going to tell you who won, Biden or Trump. Making that safe and secure, because your oracle now has a lot of power. He can make a bet and then fix the results. So creating a trusted oracle is the big barrier to decentralized finance and smart contracts absolutely exploding. Chainlink is the solution, or so they think, to the oracle problem. And their whole situation is this. A 2-second way to summarize this. You have to buy a bunch of Chainlink, stake it, and put it on the blockchain, and hold it as a deposit, as security, that you will be a good oracle. I haven't gone into it deep, but it's if you are a bad oracle and say Trump won the election when actually Biden won the election, or vice versa, somehow you lose your security that you staked. So, it could be the case where you got hundreds of millions of dollars staked on Chainlink, and you know that person is very, very invested in not losing that money personally. And also they want the value of Chainlink to go up because they hold so much of the token, so they don't want to bring Chainlink into disrepute by being a bad oracle. That's the very short brief hand of it. That's what Chainlink is trying to do. I think it's a very exciting, very promising project. I am not invested in it yet, but I probably will be. I think it's very cool. Nicholas, could you state a cheaper price at which to place a limit order for possible pullbacks of interesting assets, especially Bitcoin and silver? Good question. Let me look over here on my chart. I think 8,400 is a good target for Bitcoin, and 10,500. Let's call it 10,000. Yeah, 10,500. 10,500 and 8,400. There are 2 serious spots where if Bitcoin retraces, they might retrace to there. Beyond that, you might have to go all the way back to 6,500. In the world of silver, I think lows of silver, if there is another big market smash like March of this year, if there's another one coming, I'm just going from memory, I don't have my silver chart up, but I would guess something around the 12 to 15 mark would be a big pullback and maybe a spot for silver. Remember, silver's a lot more volatile than gold. Right now, current price of silver, let's see, is what? $27, all the way back to 15. Yeah, that's a pretty solid smash. But that could be it. Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, let me pull it up. What do we got there? And 20. Yeah, that 18 to 20 range is definitely one of those spots. And then the $23 range is another one of those spots. All right, great question. Hi Max, I have a couple of questions. I've seen you recommending silver bullion to buy precious metals, but what do you think about Voltoro? I don't know Voltoro. I bought some Bitcoin there and Jeff recommended. Do you think it's a safe place? I just don't know them. I don't have anything good or bad to say about them. If you wouldn't have any mortgage to pay, what do you think it would be the ideal percentage cash, Bitcoin, precious metals before the economic crash? Because I've answered this question a few times already. Would you recommend to someone with stock market investments going good right now to move to Bitcoin and precious metals as soon as possible? Yes, I think they're a good place to be. Thank you very much for this great opportunity and answering the questions. Yeah, thank you, Javier. Hello, Max. I'd like to know what you are thinking about KYC. That's Know Your Customer. Personally, I'm a little bit paranoid when it comes to these and don't like giving away my information to the government. Smart man. The reason I wonder about this is that I would like to get the crypto.com card backed by Visa. It looks really awesome. The only thing that stops me from getting it is the damn KYC, with a selfie even. So what do you do? Do you think I'm exaggerating the problem? No, I don't think you're exaggerating the problem. And so, again, you don't have to have all of your crypto through the one place. So if you can get it anonymously in some place, do that. If you want to have some spending with crypto, do that. It's good to have multiple stuff. And that way, if the government ever harass you, you say, here, take it. And they don't know you've got a whole bunch of other stuff. Whereas if you don't have any, but you've been watching 100 hours of Bitcoin videos the last every week for the last year, you might be outing yourself. So it's good to have some that you can give away if the government comes knocking on your door. Hi Max, can you advise on passive income strategies with crypto? Thanks. Hi Simon, no, I cannot, only because I don't know them yet, but I think I will take a deep dive on these over the next few months when I get into the world of altcoins. Hi Max. Oh, and I will say this, sorry, I'll do a high level something. Generally, and not exclusively, but generally, to accept the passive income opportunities in crypto, what you're doing is you're giving up the gains of the coins. So if Bitcoin goes up and drags all the coins with them and all the altcoins and everything goes up, when you're making a dividend, that means you're generally foregoing the value of the coin going up. You put the coins on stake and you buy the dollars. You're effectively shorting them. I think that's true. I'm going to double check that. All right, Rachel. Hi Max, thank you for your time. My question, I have limited funds to start crypto, precious metals. How would you split them up in terms of percentages right now? If you got a small amount, like I would just go all Bitcoin. If you got a small amount, just go all Bitcoin. How is it best to get started in Bitcoin? I'm a Bitcoin virgin. So back to the members area, go down to Bitcoin starter kit and click the 2020 update. That will teach you how, the 2020 update, that'll teach you how to get started with Bitcoin right now. Videos. Can you recommend where to buy gold and silver besides a local shop? The online recommendations for the video is no longer in service. Thank you. So that's not true. So if you want to buy gold and silver, there's goldmoney.com. It's a great service. That's based out of like an English, off the coast of England. There's an island, I think it's called Jersey, I'm not sure. But anyway, goldsilver.com. We have Goldmoney.com, I like, sorry. The first one was goldmoney.com. It's out of Europe. The second one is goldsilver.com. That's Mike Maloney out of the USA. I like them. And in Europe, in Singapore, I love Silver Bullion. Silverbullion.com.sg, I think. Silver Bullion. So yeah. Is it prudent to take a loan against the stored silver to buy more silver? A very reasonable strategy. When would be a good time to do so? Right now, any strategy to generate income from the stored silver. No, I do not know how to generate income from the stored silver other than to borrow cash and invest in something better. That's the only way I would know how to do that. But now, is this a good idea? Yeah, look, if you have a risk appetite for that and are willing to leverage the metals, this is a fine idea. So yeah, it's definitely a reasonable strategy. You're introducing risk, you're leveraging yourself, so you're going to maximize your gains, maximize your falls. But if you're willing to take that risk, that's worth it. What is the best and most private way to sell my Bitcoin? Localbitcoins.com is a great place to start, or attend events and meet people and just start making friends in the community, where the people in the community are always buying and selling. I will do that after you have given a sign when the time is right. Thank you very much. Yep. Hello and thank you. I've been a member for several months now. I have two questions. It appears the futures market has a significant impact on price discovery of Bitcoin. Is this and will this be used to suppress the price in the same way that it's been done in precious metals? Probably. Bitcoin is a probably competing currency or asset. It can reflect the strength or weakness of the dollar and the other major currencies. What do you see happening with this now moving forward? So the short answer to that, meathead, is that could be possible. Like, yeah, big wigs and things like that, and the big banks who are on the inside of all those trades can absolutely kind of affect and hold back precious metals, as they've done, and try and hurt and hold back Bitcoin. But ultimately, I think these asset classes will win. Also, the stable coins are far more present and utilized now as opposed to the previous bull markets. As the altcoins pump and then pull back, is Bitcoin still the recipient of all that liquidity as in the past, or does a substantial portion of the capital move into stable coins, preventing a stronger rise in the Bitcoin price? It's a great question. That's a great question. So during a pullback, when altcoin investors flee to safety, maybe they just go, yeah, no, I'm not so sure about that. You know why? Because it was still pretty easy. If you wanted to go to cash, you still just could go to cash and leave it on the exchange. So I don't think it'll change the market dynamics significantly, but maybe a little bit. That's a good question. Lotus, one of our biggest concerns is penalties limitations into banking due to the current situation in mandatory vax, especially with the new digital dollars, as just publicly admitted by the Fed, which will have major implications on control markets trading, blah, 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 for the average person. What is the best wallet for privacy strategy to thus protect your crypto so it is not hacked? How do you think in such a scenario will people be able to eventually sell back their metals for taking profit? What do you mean by fiat as an asset in portfolio holding physical cash in your hands or also inside the banks? Fiat is cash, whether you hold it in your hands or in the banks. And also, if inside the banks, in which format? Just as dollars. But it definitely have some dollars that you can get some access to, either in your home or somewhere where you can have some dollars. I think that'll be a wise thing to do. What do you think of the future of Ethereum? I think the future is bright for Ethereum. I have more questions, but we'll start with these. Thanks a bunch. I'll be doing lots more of these, guys. So yeah, don't worry. This isn't the last chance you're going to get to ask the questions. Best wallet for holding your Bitcoin, I think Ledger or Trezor. Strategy question. I'm new to the crypto world, joined in the past 24 hours. My husband and I own 3 investment properties, 2 rentals and 1 for Airbnb. 2 properties we own 100% with no mortgage. We're in the middle of the process of mortgaging 1 property to free up some cash for us. Would you recommend selling up the properties at a loss now before the property crash and not remortgage? And second question is, I personally have $5,000 of pounds to invest. What ratio of Bitcoin to silver would you recommend? 2/3 Bitcoin, 1/3 silver, etc. So that's a risk management question. You have to ask yourself that question. Yeah. Let's go back to the first question. Should you sell your property? All right. So there's tax considerations to think of with capital gains tax, etc. But as a general rule, as I've said before, yes, I think it might be wise to transfer some wealth from real estate to Bitcoin. But if you already have a hell of a lot of Bitcoin, and if you have like, $5 million of Bitcoin and let's say $200,000 of equity in your real estate, no, I'd keep the real estate. Maybe even sell some Bitcoin and get the real estate. So I would want to be a little bit balanced there. But it depends. But as a general rule, yes, I think real estate's going to get hurt, and I wouldn't want to leverage an asset that's going to get hurt unless I was confident in buying really good cash flow to deal with that mortgage. So I would probably not. I would probably just sell the property if that's what you want to do. If you got like 100% of your net wealth in real estate, I would sell the real estate, one of them, and get into Bitcoin. Third question. How soon do I need to buy Bitcoin? How much time do I have before the predicted upturn? The predicted upturn is happening. In fact, where are we? Bitcoin's still at 12,400. It's stayed about the same. Yeah, the upturn is happening. There might be one more big pullback, but my prediction, Bitcoin is in its bull run. The bull run has started. It's a 2-year bull run starting several months ago. Do I have a couple of weeks to get settled into this new world? Yeah, of course. Look, I'm really excited by a whole bunch of altcoins, but I'm not just like, FOMO, go buy a bunch of altcoins. I want to take care of my customers first, and then I'll look on the altcoin world. And so you want to move briskly, but don't go and buy something that you don't understand. You'll end up doing it wrong, costing yourself money, and maybe worse still, holding it the wrong way and losing it all. Thank you so much. I joined just a few hours ago. Blessings to you. You are very welcome. Hi, Max. I have silver in crypto. I have a good chunk in ERC20. Over the last 6 months, Bitcoin has outperformed C20 by about 4%, but C20 has outperformed some top 20 by the same amount. I could trade into Bitcoin and just hold BTC, which is more easily convertible. Do you think I should sit tight on the C20? My inclination is to just sit tight with the C20 until the market looks like it's topping out, while I follow closely to your channel. Yeah, like I said, I think altcoin season's coming in. I don't know exactly what's in this ERC20 index fund. So yeah, okay, is that what it is? The top 20 ERC20 cryptos on market cap. So yeah, you're probably I think you're probably going to do all right where you are. I have a good chunk. Yeah, you said I have a good chunk. I'm not sure if that means a majority or not, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you're in the right. Like I said, altcoin season's starting to hit, and I think you're going to be doing fine there. During this big pullback that I'm anticipating, the altcoins will probably get hit harder than Bitcoin, but everything will be. You sound like you're doing an all right job there. After investing in crypto and gold, silver, once the market shoots up exponentially down the road, what is our strategy to capture those profits? Should we cash out? Do we preserve those gains especially? Yeah, I'll tell you in a couple of years, so don't worry about it. But the strategy is generally to get into, you're going to purchase cash flow. That could be high dividend paying stock or real estate. What wallet do you recommend to buy Bitcoin and Monero, Trezor, or the other one? Nano, Ledger, Trezor, Ledger. I want to get paid in crypto for my business, but I want to be transparent for my members. What is the best way to do that? Well, you can, what do you mean? You can just tell them you want to get paid in crypto. That's being transparent to you. So I don't understand the question. Telling them I want to get paid in crypto, why is that not transparent? We're at the end, 4 more questions to go. Hi Max, in one of your early videos you were talking about buying income producing assets such as Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not an income producing asset, but you only get money when you sell Bitcoin. So if you want to make $100,000 per year, yeah, you missed the other part of that. You have to sell your Bitcoin to buy income producing asset. Max, a big thank you for doing this. I like your style of teaching, fast and to the point. Question, I've purchased some silver and wonder, can it be used as an asset that I can borrow against to buy a home? The answer is yes, Jim, you can do that. One of the places to do that would be silver bullion in Singapore. Good morning, Max. Should I hold Bitcoin till skyrocket? Yes. Or should I side trade with all this volatility? Fabricio, that is a question for you, sir. I would just keep most of it in Bitcoin and trade a little bit on the side. That's what I'm going to do. But it depends on your personality, your risk tolerance, your willingness to investigate all these altcoins. Or you're talking about going in and out of Bitcoin. Yeah, if you've got trading skills, go in and out. Otherwise, I would suggest leaving trading to the professionals. When will the big pullback come? How low will it go? Will silver tank too? When will the pullback come? I believe it's going to happen this year. How low will it go? I can see somewhere between 25 to 50%. Will silver tank too? Yes. All right, guys, that is the end of this video. I have no idea how long it went, but I bet it was a lot. And I'll upload this, get it out to you, and I will see you soon. I'll do another Q&A in another week or two. Love you all. Sorry I'm speaking so fast, but that was a lot to get through. Take care, guys.